What is up, guys? Aldo here. Welcome back to the channel. Always appreciate if you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I always try to post a lot of really helpful stuff for you guys, so always appreciate that. Let's get right into it right now. So basically, when we look at Bitcoin on some of the macro time frames, Blood Diamond, pretty scary, but obviously, it could have played out. I mean, it's scary here, but, that was 2022. That's a bear market year. That was actually the first time we had it on, at least on this chart, on the Coinbase chart, the Blood Diamond. But I would argue that given that you're in a halving year, given the 4-year cycle, most likely it's not going to be that horrifically bad. That horrifically bad. I mean, if we do look at, I'm just curious what, that was 30% down from there. We're right now, I got about 24% down. So the first leg of it is done. I mean, but look, unless you think it's going to be like 08, unless you think things are going to get really ugly, really bad this year, most likely we will potentially recover. Now, as long as we look at this area right here, if you don't count this crazy wick downward, this is somewhat of a double bottom. This is a good thing. And as long as we hold generally 54K, I would consider things to be a little bit more bullish than bearish right now. I mean, we confirmed a Blood Diamond on the 5-hour, brought us down a little bit. That could have played out already. There are these signs to come up, especially when a lot of people are shorting, especially when a lot of people are bearish, thinking that it's going to keep going down. You get those little bearish signs, but they don't play out as much and the trend shifts. So this is the really important place, 54K that I kind of drew out that I think, we need to hold. You got some spiral lines, linear spiral lines. I don't consider them as strong and as good as logarithmic spiral lines, but it is it's something to absolutely look at here. I really like the spiral lines. I really like the spiral lines overall. And jumping up, your next logarithmic spiral line is going to be at around 56. Potentially, if you get this trigger wave on the 2-day, we could kind of continue forward and potentially get back to 59. If you can get above there, you're looking at 64 potentially, those low 60s all the way up to potentially 64. So there could be a lot of good stuff in store from us. And if we look at, if you think about traditional markets, if they keep coming down any lower, the Fed's going to jump in and do probably an emergency 50 basis point cut. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we may recover over the next month into September and just give us about a 25 basis point cut. It could be a 50 point basis cut, but maybe it just may be a 25 point basis cut. So as of right now, and the other thing, the last thing I want to show you, you do have on the 2-day, money flow is kind of bad, but you do have a trigger wave potentially forming there on the 2-day. Same deal here on the 3-day. Your VWAP is starting to come up. So, when you have that quick drop down, certain times things could, kind of reverse here. Now, I don't want to sound overly optimistic. We could, if we lose 54, playing around with these points could be in the cards. Playing around with this, potentially going to 45 could be in the cards. But as of right now, I kind of think we have at least a little bit more upside potential, especially the hourly money flow. That looks pretty good right there. I kind of like that hourly money flow as well. Gap to our size coming upward, I think we got a little bit more. And I think if we could break above and hold 56K, that's pretty good. That's pretty good in my book. Ethereum, similar situation, a bit more catastrophic. That trigger wave could be forming, maybe a little bit of a bigger trigger wave, but that could be forming if you get that VWAP to start to come up here. So there are some, good things we can look at here. Money flow is not too good, on your 3-day, but when you get down here on the daily, you got a green dot, your money flow is starting to come back up. This is a major point right here. I like it. Spiral line pockets are pretty big. I like them. This is a big point. Money flow starting to come back up on your 5-hour. 3-hour, it's pointing downward, but you may be forming that trigger wave. So, it could be a little bit risky business, but I think trying to go long up to these areas potentially could make sense, could absolutely make sense here. If you guys are interested in some of the trade setups, where I give entry points, stop losses, take profits, check out the Aldo Empire VIP Discord down below. I believe it is the first link down below. And if you guys want one free month in there, if you want to sign up to, if you sign up to any of the exchanges down below, I'll give you one free month in the Discord. Just open a support ticket with your UID and the exchange you sign up for. FAIRDESK and Bybit, I think, are the best ones. If you don't want a KYC, if you're comfortable KYCing, Bybit is probably the best one, especially with high liquidity. It is a really good exchange. I keep my eggs, moved around. I don't put all my eggs in one basket because, people don't talk about it as much anymore. But what happens, there's always that possibility of an FTX, something crazy happening. So yeah. And then if we look at some lower time frames, you got some trigger waves forming. So yeah, I think this is a big point, a really big point that we want to hold for Ethereum. If we lose, this area right here that we jumped off of, I could potentially see, 2000, then we could talk about 2000. We could talk, I don't know why I have this. This might have been by accident, that alarm or whatever. I don't know. I don't think that's a significant area. Anyway, so, then we could talk about 1800, these lower areas. As of right now, I think we got a good shot of jumping up, of continuing upward. If we look at Solana, that's kind of becoming a very popular one. You see some bearish things. Yeah, trigger wave on your 6 hour, but your money flow is headed generally upward. This is where it gets a bit concerning on the 8 hours. Some of these are concerning, but we want to wait and see kind of, what happens here. I could be overly optimistic, especially with that. But when I look at my 2 hour trigger wave forming, I would be a little bit more optimistic than pessimistic here. We want to see what happens, especially at 153, which I think you got a good shot at getting up to, especially in the lower time frames. But like I said, that bearish case on that 8 hour, ooh, that could bring you all the way back down. But this one's a little bit different. This one could form kind of a higher low at 122. Obviously, this pocket is a huge area at 138, but as you get down to the lower market cap of all coins, it gets a little bit more hard to project, and things get a little bit different. A little bit out of order here, ETH versus Bitcoin. I think you may see a little bit more relief here. Big jump off of 0.04, which is, a big kind of psychological place in ETH versus Bitcoin. My guess, if the Fed pivots in September, 2 months after that, the Fed pivoted in July here of 2019. 2 months after that was September of 2019. It would be November where you would see a bottom against Bitcoin, maybe. I mean, it wasn't too bad here from, actually, you did lose it a little bit more. I don't know how low you could go here, but, I wouldn't bet too hard against ETH. I wouldn't bet too hard against ETH. Matic, another one, getting that. We got that correction today. This could be, our little kind of scare. Nothing goes straight up to a recovery. This could be a little scare on the way up. I could be wrong again. Anything could happen. Like I said, I could be wrong, but a little scare on the way up, and then potentially recovering upward, higher for a lot of these potential, a lot of these coins. So that's what we're looking at right here. And yeah, we'll definitely have to see what happens. I like the daily confirmed, anchor wave right there. It is a huge place on Matic. I mean, if you are to lose, this area that we bounced off of, that's no bueno. That's pretty bad. So we want to hope that this was the bottom. I mean, you could come down all the way to 30 cents and bounce, but I mean, we don't want to lose this general area at 36 cents. We really don't want to lose that. If you look at traditional markets just a little bit here, same thing on the triple Q, right there, you came down a little bit more. And I just want to look at, forget the ticker for it, but futures, yeah. NASDAQ futures here. And we looked, yeah, we came down, where is it? Yeah, we came down, that was our low. Then this is a big area right here. We're bouncing off of it right now. So, cautious optimism, cautious optimism. We got our correction, and I think you got a good shot of continuing forward. I think, look at this trigger wave right there. Look at that trigger wave right there, and then potentially another one. So this area, and then, I mean, it depends how bullish you want to be. It depends what they'll give us into the election, but that's a nice risk-reward ratio all the way up to here if you think we could recover over the next couple months, something of that nature. Unless, like I said, unless you think we're going straight into a recession, unless you think it's going to be like, oh wait, this is dip buying time. Like I said earlier, guys, if you're interested in the Discord where I give a lot of trade setups and all that, a lot of people really like it. Link in description below if you want one free month there. If you sign up to any of the exchanges down below, deposit at least $100 and open a support ticket with your UID. I'll give you one free month in the VIP Discord. Always appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Bye.